guys, let me tell you right now. Let me tell you something right now. If you want a good book to read, you want something that's just great. Well, let me tell you about Justice League issue number 19. All right. So our comic opens up with Superman meeting up with the Justice League, and to give a quick rundown, the League's in sort of a bit of a hot spot due to recent events. So first of all, in Dark Knight's Metal, they busted a hole in the source wall. Then they sort of stopped the reboot of the universe by stopping the Omega Titans and releasing the energy of entropy into the universe. Then they lost the totality, which is effectively a universe-altering item, which contains the goddess Perpetua. Then their attempts to rebuild the source wall, destroy the entirety of the source wall, where even the Guardian was like, "We are in trouble. You're on your own. What'd you do?" So what do they have to do? What is their option now? Well, they have to get help. They have to get help, and the only person they can go to get help to is Superman's most dangerous enemy. All right? His greatest foe, the person he's never truly been able to best, Mr. Mxyzptlk, a being from the fifth dimension, a dimension of pure imagination. And Mr. Mxyzptlk just looks awesome as he appears. The whole, well. Actually, he only does it twice. The third one would have made it perfect, I'm not going to lie. Because he feels a bit like Oogie Boogie. I don't know why, but he does. It's like, especially during this entire sequence. So, he's effectively trapped in a black diamond cage forged in the fires of Apocalypse. This was used to hold Eclipso. So everyone's like, okay, we should be good. And he's like, okay, you thought you could pull a mischief on a dimensional imp. Okay, that's cute. Well, you're right, okay? I can't stop you, okay? This cage will stop me from doing anything to you. But who's going to stop this city from messing with you guys? And he effectively turns the city into his own weapon. The Daily Planet building becomes a cannibal, becomes a monster, and eats away at the Wayne Tower. You know, Flash tries to stop him, like, "I got you, Mr. Mxyzptlk." He runs forward. Mr. Mxyzptlk, like, you know what? You're stuck in the cement now. And the cement turns alive. Jon Stewart tries to fire the old Green Lantern at him, and he puts that in a boxing glove, and then there are like light bulbs coming out of Jon Stewart's ears, and he's got a red nose, and then his arm starts disintegrating into jelly beans, which would be funny, but it's also kind of dark, and this just goes pretty much the same way. We see Hawkgirl, Starman, Wonder Woman, and Mara all engaging him like, no, that's adorable, no. And he's just running through them all within that cage, and he thinks like, ha, I win. Like, wait a minute, something ain't right. So luckily, there's only one way to stop Mr. Mxyzptlk, and that's to get him to say his name backwards, which I cannot do. I don't know why anyone can do it, but he can. So Jean has been able to make him subconsciously say it in his head, which has been stopping his powers. They said, like, look, if you don't calm down, he'll make you say it properly, and you'll be sent back to your own dimension. And he's wondering, like, how can I... that shouldn't work. Turns out, Mr. Mxyzptlk can only come back on a specific day, and they've gone out of the way to make him think it is that day. So he was like, okay, fine, what do you want? And, you know, they need a way to get to the fifth dimension, because the pattern on Hawkgirl's wings seems to indicate that's the way they need to go. And he's like, no, first of all, that's stupid. You don't know how to get to the fifth dimension. Well, first of all, it's a dimension of imagination. It's all around you, technically. And if you could see the fifth dimension, you'd know that it's dying. Because some morons broke the source wall, and all that imagination is going everywhere, and everywhere. It's sort of effectively leaking out of our dimension. And he says, like, look, where you want to get to is the sixth dimension. To which someone, looks like Wonder Woman, says, there's no such thing as a sixth dimension. And I swear he all but went, I'm sorry, is there another dimensional imp in here that knows more than I? Another dimensional imp? No? Then shut up. And he shows the multiversity map. And he says, okay, so this is your 4 dimensions, all right? You know, a dot, a line, and then you have stuff, which is the 3rd dimension, and time, which is the 4th dimension. And then you have imagination, which is what breathes life in all of us. It circles through all the other dimensions, and and in the 5th dimension, everything exists frontwards, forwards, backwards, all at the same time. And above that is the 6th dimension. You could view it as sort of a control room for the multiverse. Think the programmer in the Matrix, sitting in his chair talking about how, this is the first version of the Matrix I've created, and so on and so forth. But only a small handful of beings have ever been there. And he talks about how it was the Brothers Three, the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the World Forger that was defeated in Dark Knight's Metal, who like the other two, will eventually reform there. And of course, Perpetua. If they want to stop Perpetua from doing what she's going to do, they have to go there. And the question is, well, how do we get there? And it's like, well, I possibly could open a doorway. It'd take a lot of my strength, might possibly kill me, but because some morons broke the source wall, it's possible. And then he points out, but at the same time, you all probably won't be able to comprehend it, except Superman, because I've been, dousing him in my fifth dimensional energy, after all this time, just because I knew this would happen one day. Because fifth dimensional beings can see time. They can see the most possible paths that will be taken, but they cannot see anything at the sixth dimension. So everyone's like, well, particularly Batman's a bit worried, like, maybe we shouldn't do this. It's too risky, it's too dangerous, Sending Superman alone into the sixth dimension, that wasn't part of the plan, and time is not on their side. Superman's like, no, we got this. We're the Justice League. We'll rise to the occasion. And he's like, I'll be right back, as Mr. Mxyzptlk opens up the door, and he goes through, and it was like, so how long before he comes back? And it turns out he just walks through looking all clean and gray-haired. He looks like someone's rich grandpa. He's like, guys, I'm back. Sorry it took me so long. I spent the last decade following a path through millions of billions of choices, and I found the road to best lead to fixing this whole thing. You got to come with me. They're a bit skeptical, but like, oh, well, let's go. And they go through the door, and they end up at this new place, this new Hall of Justice, where Superman introduces them to, I guess, another version of themselves. There's, of course, Superman. There's what appears to be White Lantern John Stewart. There's Batman looking like he's Earth 2 Batman, but that's actually Dick Grayson from Earth 2, so whatever. There's Wonder Woman rocking the gray. There's three Flashes. One looks like Wally. I guess one is Bart, and the other has to be Barry. And Martian Manhunter and Hawkgirl became a couple, and they have a little Martian Thanagarian hybrid. We should probably kill it before it lays eggs. And we're like, okay, good. But then it turns out that's not our Superman. He's stuck in another dimension with no way out, where there's not even sunlight. And that's how the comic ends. So this was pretty awesome. Mr. Mxyzptlk brought the entire issue to a whole new level. He brought the entire book to a whole new level. Scott Snyder has been one of the best things to happen to DC Comics in a while, which is a bit weird for me to say this because I didn't start actually reading comics consistently until New 52 with Snyder, but whatever. This issue has been great. The art is great. The reveal about how the multiverse works, about the different levels, the Brothers 3 is cool. The quick rundown of exactly how screwed the League is, and how Superman doesn't give up, and then this clear knockoff of the Justice Lords, but they look a bit cleaner and a bit less police state fascism. All I can say is I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of this plays off. Anyway, if you are new here to the Bucket Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you read this issue, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Can you say Mr. Mxyzptlk's name? It took me a while to do it too. And this is the Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching, and may your fandom serve you well.